Hi, my name is Josh, and I haven't showered in 10 years. Sounds insane, doesn't it? Well, I wish I could just take a bath and be done with it, but I simply can't. I am deathly afraid of water. When I was a little baby, I would scream and sob miserably whenever Mom gave me a bath. She said she always expected me to get over it, as all babies did, but I never did. Every single time the water was turned on in the bathroom, I began crying and trembling like a leaf. I had these bad panic attacks as a young kid, and Mom had to drag me inside the bathtub and rub the soap and shampoo on me as fast as she could. Every night it was a struggle to get me to bathe, and I wouldn't calm down for a long time after every single shower. She tried everything, but I kept rebelling over and over again. About when I was 5 or 6, she decided I was old enough to take showers on my own. She would supervise me at first, of course, but after a while, I was left alone to bathe. That was when I began finding ways to avoid taking showers at all. At first, it wasn't so easy. I had to do a lot of things for Mom and Dad not to notice what was going on. But over time, I perfected the system and took many steps to pretend I really was taking showers. Every night when Mom told me it was time to get a shower, I would reluctantly head into the bathroom. I felt my heart pounding in my chest. Even if I knew I wasn't going to be getting inside the shower, I still struggled to be inside the bathroom. It's a phobia I don't really understand, and I can't manage the fear I experience when thinking about showers and water in general. I don't have problems drinking water, but submerging my body in it or having it being poured over my head terrifies me. Of course, I tried to find other options before deciding to never take a shower again. I tried washing myself by rubbing soap and water on my body, but I still ended up trembling and sobbing alone. I also tried to take super quick showers, but nothing worked. So I got really good at fooling my mom and dad. I had a whole system planned out, and I repeated it every single day. I poured a bit of shampoo down the drain and did the same with the liquid soap. I made sure never to use too much or too little since I didn't want Mom to be suspicious. Then I would let the water run for a while, standing in the opposite corner of the bathroom and trying to ignore the sound. It stressed me out so much, but I could handle it for a few minutes if I was far enough from it. Then I would turn off the shower and moisten the towels up with the water remaining on the floor. I would sometimes even moisten my hair up, but that made me really anxious, so I tried to avoid it whenever I could. This method worked rather well for a while, but soon another problem appeared. I began smelling bad, and my mom asked me if I was bathing carefully enough. I apologized and told her I was taking quick showers, but that I would be more careful. She believed me, and I began thinking about what I could do to mask the smell up. That was when I discovered body sprays and bought a few bottles of it with my allowance. Every morning, I would spray myself from head to toe, hiding all the odors I was accumulating over months and months without showering. It worked really well at first, since no one could smell my nasty body odor. I was so relieved, but my parents were amused. They told me I didn't need to use too much since I reeked of body spray. I explained I simply liked the smell. They laughed and asked me if I was doing that because of a girl I liked at school. I lied, as it felt it was a really good excuse, and said I was. Mom told me that the girl would like me far more if I didn't use as much. I agreed with them, but kept on doing the same anyways. They tried scolding me at first, but then simply decided to give up. It wasn't harming anyone, and they figured I'd stop doing it on my own eventually. They thought it was just another silly teenage phase. So I kept on with my daily routine for years. I would pretend to take showers, spend a few hellish minutes locked in the bathroom, say I'd taken a nice bath, and then go to bed. In the morning, I sprayed myself until no one could smell anything but the deodorant and left for school. Mom noted that my sheets smelled really bad, but didn't want to argue with me anymore, so she just washed them more regularly. Kids at school noticed the strong perfume I wore and teased me a bit, but I shrugged it off. Everything was fine until the dirt and odor began getting so bad that there was no way I could hide it any longer. People began realizing that I smelled bad even with the body spray. I had a girlfriend I really liked, but she seemed frustrated with my hygiene. Her name was Hannah, and she was so sweet. I had a huge crush on her, and she agreed to date me a few months after we turned 15. We got along so well and would talk for hours, but whenever I kissed her, she would tell me I smelled really bad. She clearly was making an effort to be nice about it, but it was obvious it bothered her a lot. I didn't dare tell her the truth. She would laugh at me if I let her know I was deadly afraid of water, no matter how nice she was. I kept making excuses why I smelled bad, and it was clear she wanted to believe me, but soon the lies began piling up. She finally told me that she really liked me, but that the smell was getting too bad, and she couldn't handle it any longer. Hannah said that the other kids were starting to notice as well, and they laughed at me behind my back. Even teachers gave me odd looks because it always seemed like I was dirty. In the end, Hannah ended up breaking up with me right before the spring dance. I was devastated. I had gotten her a really nice bouquet for her dress, and I tried to convince her to give me another chance. She told me she would still go to the dance with me if I promised to smell nice that night, and I swore I would. I tried everything short of taking a bath, and even bought a really expensive deodorant. I spent all the money my grandma had given me for my birthday. But that didn't work. When I arrived at her house to take her to the dance, she looked amazing. Hannah was wearing this pretty pink gown, and I realized that I was so in love with her. She smelled me and began screaming at me. Hannah told me she had given me so many chances, and I refused to change. So she closed the door in my face, and I left in defeat. I was heartbroken. I really did love her so much, and I wanted to date her, but I couldn't get in the shower. It terrified me, and I thought that maybe it was better to just remain single. Then I wouldn't hurt any girl I cared about. The situation only got worse and worse. People at school gave me funny looks, and no one wanted to sit next to me. I seemed to be reeking, but I really didn't notice it. It was as if I had gotten so used to the smell that it was just normal to me. At school, students began calling me the garbage kid, and they bullied me constantly. I couldn't go to class without everyone making fun of me. The only person who never bothered me was Hannah. People refused to stand next to me on the bus, and strangers on the streets stared my way when they walked past me. My parents were really worried, and they tried talking to me many times about it. I got mad and refused to speak to them. I even locked myself up in my room and told them to stop pressuring me. I was really stressed up, and I had many panic attacks during that time. I even began missing school often, and my parents got called by worried teachers at least once a month. To make things worse, my skin was beginning to get in really bad shape. I had horrible acne and got sores in certain parts of my body. I felt itchy all the time and so uncomfortable. My clothes all reeked. I didn't realize it, but my mom had to wash them over and over just to get the smell off them. My parents were really worried about me and tried to force me to get in the shower. We had a really bad fight, and they finally stopped when they realized I was in the middle of a really bad panic attack. They took me to the doctor and let me know that they wanted nothing but to help me, and they weren't my enemies. The dermatologist checked out my skin and told my mom and dad that I needed to improve my hygiene soon or I would suffer bad consequences. My body was in really bad shape, and I was so dirty that I could end up with a serious allergic reaction, and I could get an infection from the open sores. The doctor recommended I visit a therapist, as this was a psychological problem. I had a few sessions with my parents in the room. It was sort of a family therapy, really. The shrink was amazing. He really understood me. Mom and Dad finally really understood I had a severe phobia, and we began thinking about possible solutions. The doctor we visited suggested that if I couldn't take showers, at least I clean the dirt away with baby wipes and then apply certain creams he prescribed to keep my body from developing sores. The first time I cleaned myself with the wipes, my mom and dad helped me out. We went through 2 entire bags that night. Every baby wipe came out black from the dirt accumulated on my skin. Finally, though, for the first time in a decade, I was actually clean. I decided to cut my hair really short so I could use dry shampoo without damaging my scalp. When I returned to school a few days later, some people didn't recognize me. My skin was pale and clean again, and I looked far better. I had some sores on my arms and legs, but they were healing fast. I immediately approached Hannah, and she gave me a really surprised look. I told her I was so sorry about everything and begged her to give me a third chance. She smiled at me and agreed to date me again if I swore I would never let myself get so dirty again. I agreed immediately, and we've been dating ever since. I haven't taken a single bath since then, but I finally managed to find a solution to my problem. My parents were really supportive, and they spent a lot of money every month on baby wipes. They don't care, though. They're just happy to see me clean and healthy.